Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast, 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald, and I'm with 49ers team reporter, Lindsay Polares, and we want to wish you a happy new league year. The 2024 season officially started on Wednesday with the opening of free agency, and wow, a lot has happened in the span of just a few days with players coming and going, but we're going to bring you up to speed here today. Lindsay, let's start with the free agents who have re-signed with the 49ers. Out of the 15 players who've chosen to stay for the next season, what are some of the biggest signings that stood out to you?
Yeah, there's quite a few. So we won't list them all out, but did want to call out a couple. Quarterback Brandon Allen. I think that's a very significant re-signing for the 49ers. He was in that number 3 QB spot behind Sam Darnold and, of course, QB1 Brock Purdy. For the entirety of the 2023 season, I think re-signing him is a very good move and pretty significant just because you have someone that has been in the system for an entire year now. He spent the whole 2023 season with the team, obviously a very extended playoff run for the 49ers in 2023 with that Super Bowl 58 appearance. And with the departure of Sam Darnold, which we will talk about later, you definitely want somebody that is a proven backup in the league. He has been in the league since 2016, so it's somebody with experience. He's now backed up Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy, among many others, but those are a couple notable ones. So again, just someone that you want to keep in the locker room. It seems like the quarterback room dynamic was really great last year. And another person to highlight, defensive lineman Kevin Givens. He's been re-signed on a 1-year deal. And Kevin Givens has been someone that has been with the 49ers since the 2019 season. He was signed after going undrafted out of Penn State. And he's just been a huge rotational piece for the 49ers on that interior part of the defensive line. And obviously, if you've tuned into Twitter and, pretty much any free agency programming that is happening right now, there's been a lot of movement on the 49ers defensive line. So to have somebody, again, that is familiar with the system, has played a pretty significant role in terms of depth for many years, I think that's always a good thing.
Also staying in the Bay for some time are offensive lineman Colton McKivitz and safety George Odum. McKivitz signed a 1-year extension and Odum signed a 2-year extension to keep playing with the Niners. Can you speak on how valuable they are to the team?
Of course, yeah. For McKivitz, he just wrapped up his first year in a starting role on the 49ers offensive line. He was in at right tackle and honestly did a really, really good job. I know that, there was a little bit of a learning curve for him at the beginning of the year, but he's someone that just continually got better week after week. I think you can see that really in the 49ers playoff run. Didn't give up a sack in the postseason. And I think, especially when it comes to who you've got in the trenches, consistency is always very good. So a well-deserved extension there. And then safety George Odum. Obviously, he's an important part of the secondary, but he is just such an incredible special teams player. I believe he led the league in special teams tackles in 2022. Yes, he did. I am checking. 21 special teams tackles. And in 2023, which I think is kind of wild, he also was 14 or tied for 14th, and he only played 11 regular season games because he got injured towards the tail end of that 2023 season, was able to undergo surgery and still come back, play the entire playoff run. And so, again, just an incredible special teams player and also adds depth to the 49ers secondary. 2 very deserving extensions there.
All right, next is tough because we've gotten to know and love these guys, but it's just a part of the game. Departures. Which players have chosen to sign with other teams?
Yeah, so again, you're going to see a lot of free agency news flying around on Twitter. These are the ones that are official, and Bree did a really amazing job of consolidating those because a lot of names are everywhere and associated with different teams. But here's what we know now. Quarterback Sam Darnold is headed to the Vikings. Tight end Charlie Warner signed a deal with the Atlanta Falcons. Then you've got offensive tackle Matt Pryor going to the Chicago Bears. Defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw signed with the New York Jets. And this one is probably one that is hitting very close to home for a lot of 49ers fans. Defensive lineman Eric Armstead was released officially on Wednesday. Prior to that move, he was the longest tenured 49ers player and just a huge part of the NorCal community. He's a Sacramento native and just contributed so much both to the Sacramento area and the Bay Area with the Eric Armstead Academic Project and just really all the community work that he did here. He's a 4-time Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. So just an incredibly big impact player, both on and off the field. Who's to say what happens down the line? But as of now, he's not going to be returning to the 49ers. And I know the organization thinks so highly of him.
Definitely. And there's going to be a lot of news circulating on social media and over the internet about all the free agency happenings. But once it's official, you will hear it from us on First and 10 and on 49ers.com. But now for all the new faces joining the squad, the 49ers front office got to work on bolstering that D-line and signed 5 defensive linemen over the course of the offseason. Lindsay, could you fill us in on all the new guys who are joining the Niners?
Yeah, we actually got to meet 3 of them yesterday, and they also officially signed their contracts. So we've got defensive lineman Maliek Collins. He comes via trade for a 7th-round pick. He's coming from the Houston Texans. So he spent the last season with a very familiar face, head coach D'Amico Ryans. And then we also had defensive lineman Jordan Elliott make it to HQ, and then defensive lineman Yetur Gross-Matos. All 3 of those guys were in the building, signed their contracts. I actually got to sit down with all 3 of them as well. So we're going to do little introductory interviews that will be on 49ers.com and also the 49ers YouTube page. So those are coming in the next few days. I would say common theme, they're all very excited to be here. I think specifically with Maliek Collins, who again is coming here via trade. You've got a veteran. He's entering year 9 in the league. This is his 4th NFL stop. And he was actually telling me that he was just leaving, I believe, the Houston Texans facility, got done with PT and, got a call from D'Amico Ryans thanking him for his service and letting him know that he was going to a very good landing spot. He said he has ties to Chris Koceric, the defensive line coach, since his pre-draft process. So again, super excited to be here. I think Bay Area fans will like this part. He said he grew up on Bay Area music, so I know that is going to hit well with a lot of people. For defensive lineman Jordan Elliott, I think that's someone to look forward to as playing a big role on that interior defensive line as well, along with Maliek Collins, especially with the departure of Eric Armstead. There is a need to fill that gap of who can play alongside Javon Hargrave. I think both those men are excellent answers to that question. And then we also had defensive lineman Yetur Gross-Matos come in. Again, everyone's super excited. He spent the last 4 years with the Carolina Panthers. He said he's seen the 49ers grow into this powerhouse. He's really, really excited to be here. I asked him what his biggest skill set is that he's bringing, and he actually said his versatility. He has played up and down the defensive line, so he can play in that edge rusher position, but has also put in some work on the interior portion of the defensive line. So I think that versatility is going to come in handy for the 49ers. And one thing about Jordan Elliott, too, that I thought was cool, he got a taste of the faithful in Cleveland this year. Obviously, he's coming from the Browns. So 49ers played the Browns in week 6. And he did say that he's excited to see the faithful at Levi Stadium on game day because he knows that they're diehard fans. And I told him he's not wrong. So I can't wait for all of them to experience the faithful in their full form at Levi Stadium.
Nice. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for filling us in on all the free agency news. Faithful, we will be keeping track of this free agency period and all that comes with it during this off season. So make sure to follow First and 10 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Turn on the notifications so you're in the know when we post any breaking news updates. And thank you, Faithful, for tuning in.